Hi guys, I'm Leo, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in this video I'll be doing my review of AEW Full Gear 2023. So first up on the 0 hour, we had Eddie Kingston successfully defend the Ring of Honor World Championship against Jay Lethal. This was a decent match. It went how a Jay Lethal match tends to go nowadays. There are a lot of attempted interference, some of it worked, some of it didn't. And yeah, Ortiz came out to help Eddie Kingston, which seemed a bit weird as they were opponents at All In only a few months ago, but they've shook hands and made up, I suppose. So, and yeah, it just kind of, it went exactly how I expected it to go. I didn't think that Eddie Kingston was going to lose the title here. And yeah, I said it was alright, it was decent, there was nothing to complain about. And yes, then it was he announced that he was going to defend the titles, so the Ring of Honor World title and the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship in the Continental Classic. Do I think he's going to come out of that tournament with the championships? No, I don't think so. I think that's where he's probably going to lose it. I'm not sure who to though, as we don't know what the bracket is until Wednesday. But I said, decent match to start off the show, not the best like by any means, and kind of went the way I expected it to, which kind of puts it down in my opinion. But yes, alright, following that we had the Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli defeats the House of Black's Buddy Matthews. Nearly called him Buddy Murphy. This was a good match. It was very evenly contested for the most part. Claudio has such a variety of moves he can beat people with. He's a bit like Gunter in WWE. You don't quite know what move he's going to win with. He makes his matches more entertaining to watch. You know, in this match he won with the sharpshooter. Sometimes he used the neutralizer. He's won matches with the swing, with European uppercuts. Just a multiple away winning matches, which is just fantastic. And Claudio just shows and proves over and over again why he was so underutilized in WWE and how he's thriving here in AEW under the Blackpool Combat Club. As a whole, I did expect more out of this match. I was very excited when it got announced on Collision that this was going to be on the card, though I'm wondering whether they're going to have a rematch, just as I'm hoping we're going to get a BCC versus House of Black feud in the future, or maybe coming up very soon, and these two will meet again and they'll get more time and kind of have more time to kind of flow and just do other things a lot better. But yeah, said very good match. I expected more, maybe I expected too much, but still very much looking forward to seeing these two interact again if a feud is beginning. And in the final match of the 0 hour, Samoa Joe and MJF retained the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships for MJF and Adam Cole against the Guns. This was an alright match. I feel like this match made MJF look weak. The Guns targeted him as the weaker opponent when they decided to split the ring in half and kind of concentrate more on MJF than Samoa Joe. Yeah, I like the confidence of Samoa Joe. Right at the start of the match, Samoa Joe kind of put himself over the top rope to save Max. I thought it was really smart, and I've never really seen that before from a tag team. So yeah, like innovative offense, or defense even, from Joe and MJF. It was a nice idea having Adam Cole show up to cause the distraction for the Guns. Something that you could tell by the crowd they were not expecting at all. I wasn't expecting, and they fully popped for it. But throughout the match, there was kind of no doubts for me that MJF and Samoa Joe were going to win, and that MJF was going to retain the championships. And especially it was announced when it was announced that Samoa Joe was going to be his tag team partner, I thought there was no way that they were losing here. And yeah, then after the match, the Guns took out MJF's leg multiple times with a steel chair, which we will talk about later on because I have some quite strong opinions about that. So yes, but the match itself was alright, nothing special really. Kind of a predictable match once Joe was a partner. And yeah, saying nothing more other than they retained the tag team championships for Adam Cole. And for the first matchup on the main show, we had Adam Copeland, Darby Allin and Sting defeat Christian Cage, Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. This was an alright match. It was action-packed. Personally, I'm glad it went on first just because it was a match I had the least interest in going into the pay-per-view. But for me, it kind of served its purpose really well, which was to make Christian look like a complete coward. And, you know, you saw that when as soon as there was any kind of altercation between himself and Copeland where he wasn't already on top, He fucking hightailed it out of there as quick as possible, and more or less, I think he left the arena, or we got told he left the arena, leaving Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne to kind of the expense of Copeland, Allen, and I call him All In. I said, shit. To the expense of Copeland, Allen, and Sting. And yeah, I said it was alright. It was nothing else. I wasn't that interested going in, therefore I didn't massively enjoy the match. And yeah, I said one thing I did like about this match though was there was, as far as legal competitors in the match, Copeland and Christian Cage were never in there at the same time as legal competitors, which I think plays well into the storyline of when we eventually get those two one-on-one. I feel like Christian Cage will probably lose the TNT title before that happens. But yes, it's good for the storyline. Apparently, Darby Allin is going on a sabbatical afterwards. He's going to climb Everest, which we knew about anyway. I thought he was going to do that after Wrestle Dream, but I think he's doing it here, as far as we know. I think they mentioned it on commentary as well. So yeah, so I look forward to when Darby Allin comes back. It makes me curious about what Sting is going to do at Revolution, as I assumed he was going to face Darby Allin, but clearly not. I definitely wouldn't have him face Christian Cage or anything like that. I'd have him go do his own separate thing for Revolution. But as far as opponents for Sting's last match, I actually have no idea who he's going to face. Like, I'm hoping that it becomes more clear maybe in the new year. But yeah, I said, alright match. I found it pretty meh myself, but watching it back, it was actually alright. And yeah, so Copeland all in again. Copeland, Allen, and Sting. Following that, we had Orange Cassidy successfully retain the International Championship against Jon Moxley. This was a good match. I preferred their all-out match, but it was still good. I do like the more aggressive side of Orange Cassidy and Orange Cassidy, and the progression his character has had over the last few months since that loss to Jon Moxley has been really good. I definitely thought it was a match of two halves. Jon Moxley very much been on top of the first part, and then you eventually saw the progression of Orange Cassidy coming back into it and being more aggressive himself, which then evened it out. And one thing I do like about Jon Moxley feuds is the fact that, and you saw this especially here and when Wheeler Yuta was first starting to become a member of the BCC, was people learn from when they face Moxley during feuds. Like, Orange Cassidy adapted himself here to face Moxley after he learned from the first time they faced, and you saw it with the match on Rampage last year when Wheeler Yuta faced Jon Moxley and joined the Blackpool Combat Club. And yeah, it's just one of these really cool things that I haven't noticed with any other feuds or anything like that. It's just Jon Moxley feuds I notice, especially with the amount of violence and stuff that Jon Moxley uses during his match, it works really well, and I think it's like a really cool thing, and it's entertaining to watch just from a wrestling standpoint, and from just the match itself is really good. And yeah, I think personally I feel like this match is going to go to a third one, and we're going to have like a rubber match between these two, probably put a stipulation on it. I'm not expecting anything like steel cage or ladder or something, but maybe like just no disqualification, where Moxley can go absolutely ham on him and then take the championship. I do feel like we are leading to Moxley becoming international champion again, just because I feel like that his reign got cut short due to Rey Fenix hurting him. Therefore, it makes sense to go back and do whatever they wanted to do with Jon Moxley as international champion a few months ago. But yeah, it was a good match. I've got no complaints about it. I just preferred the all-out match, but that's personal opinion. As I said, it was good, and no complaints from me. After that, we had Toni Storm defeat Hikaru Shida to become the new AEW Women's World Champion. This was a very entertaining match, in my opinion, especially the finish, which I'll get onto in a second. But Toni Storm is bloody brilliant, and this new character has been absolutely fantastic. I feel like it's leaps and bounds above what she was doing a few months ago. And when she was first world champion, and probably second time she was world champion, I wasn't really that bothered about it. Wasn't a big fan of hers. I went from being a fan of hers in WWE to when she came into AEW, I wasn't really that bothered. I didn't really like what they were doing with her, and now I'm a big fan of hers again, which is really cool. I'm very happy to say, because she is a really good wrestler, and now we've seen, and she's kind of the first time I've seen it, is that she's great at character work as well. So it's kind of good that she's comfortable with what she's doing, and it really does show when she's doing her segments on AEW, especially the short silent film she did a few weeks ago. That was really entertaining. I did enjoy that. I was so confused when all that stuff was going down. And yes, I'm hoping with this character it will start elevating the women's division and the women's championship, as over the last few weeks it's definitely felt like the TBS championship has been the more prestigious of the women's championships. So hopefully Tony can elevate it to a new level, or at least the level that it was at when Britt Baker had it and when Jamie Hayter had it. And yes, the finish was absolutely fantastic. With I think they call it a loofah, I'm not really sure. He put it down her backside, and where it was supposed to stay, it just didn't. It was just inanimate. Oh my god, I can never say this word. Inanimate objects not playing ball, pretty much. And it kind of was quite clearly showing through her attire where it wasn't supposed to be, and Aubrey Edwards just had to ignore it pretty much because it was very obvious. But she used it to her advantage to get the win, which of course was the point. And yeah, I think with anybody else it would look stupid, but because Tony is so entertaining, it almost worked because the camera kind of zoomed in on her before she hit the finishing move, and it looked like she was like adjusting her own ass. It was funny, it made me chuckle a lot, and it was a really cool way to do the finish, to kind of cheat without cheat with being discreet. And if the loofah had actually played ball and gone where it needed to be, it would have been a fantastic way to do it. And yeah, I'm glad that Toni Storm is world champion, which I'm surprised to say, as it was very much, for me anyway, being on the other foot and not being a fan of hers earlier this month. So yeah, all smiles for me all around, all very good. We have a new women's champion. That, Ricky Starks and Big Bill successfully defended the World Tag Team Championships against the House of Black, LFI and FTR in a ladder match. This was a crazy match. There was never a dull moment. It wasn't one of the matches of the night for me. It was just a lot going on a lot of the time. It was almost like the Stadium Stampede match at All In, where they couldn't catch everything that was going on all at the same time, which is good. I mean, it's all positives from me. And yeah, House of Black took some absolutely brutal spots, especially Brody King. He was throwing his body around. He got smashed through tables. He was slamming people through tables. Ladders even. It was a ladder match. He was smashing people through ladders. He was getting ladders thrown into him. He ended up getting busted open. Malachi Black took a pile driver on a ladder. It was brutal from those two. LFI were just there, in my opinion. Jalistico had a really good showing, but Roosh I barely saw during the match, but he didn't really make much impact when he was involved in the match either. I can't remember anything he did during this match. And that I kind of felt like they were just there at points. I don't feel like they were really imposing much on the match. I had no worry at all that they were going to win. As for FTR, they were involved in nearly everything. They were doing the complete opposite of what LFI were doing, which was they were involved. Dax and Cash were in there all the time, on screen constantly, which kind of worked and did in their favour. I think Dax got busted open at one point. Cash took the brutal spot from Brody King, so it made sense for them to kind of lose but look strong in defeat. And Ricky Starks was barely involved in the match. You could barely notice him, but it was used very well tactically, just because he ended up winning the match for them both. Big Bill was kind of doing all of the heavy lifting, which you expect out of that tag team, and kind of how they're set up. It works that way, where Big Bill would be doing all the heavy lifting. He's the muscle of the group, so Ricky Starks can come in and kind of steal the win almost, which he kind of did. He did do some stuff. He wasn't outside the whole time, but his noticeable impact on the match was winning it for the team. And yeah, I'm not majorly invested in Ricky Starks and Big Bill as a team. I still see them as two single superstars, but they had a good showing here, and it was smart of them to pick a ladder match as a stipulation and win the match. I kind of should have. Well, the thing is, I didn't know it was going to be a ladder match when I predicted it, so I think if it was a prediction, I probably still would have House of Black because I'm very biased, but realistically, it made sense that these two got the win if they asked for the stipulation. But yes, a decent match, no dull moments, and they are still your tag team. Following that, we had Julia Hart defeat Chris Statlander and Sky Blue to become the new TBS champion. This was a brilliant match. This exceeded my expectations completely. I thought that Sky Blue were going to join Julia Hart and it'd be more of a 2-on-1 handicap match, but that wasn't the case. The new presentation of Sky Blue is really cool. I like her new theme. The presentation's a lot better, and she had a really good showing in this match. She was involved probably the most out of everybody, and yeah, just the wrestling she did was awesome. The transitional wrestling that she did with Statlander near the end was really good. The power bomb into it was like Statlander went for a power bomb and Sky Blue reversed it. Sky Blue reversed it into a code blue, which I thought was really cool, and the transition was beautiful. And yes, Statlander showed once again how much of a phenomenal athlete she is, and like taking on them both at one point simultaneously, it was awesome to see. And though Julia Hart didn't have probably the most impact on the match, it made sense with her character that she would come in and steal the match at the end. And yeah, I said just overall action-packed, just quality from all three all around. And yeah, just I'd probably say it was second best match of the night in my opinion. It was fantastic. I popped when Julia Hart got the win. I'm a big fan of the House of Black. I'm glad at least one member got a win on this pay-per-view, though the House of Black should have won the tag titles, but that's my opinion. And yeah, said Julia has a beautiful moonsault. I know it's kind of not making much sense while the timeline goes through the match, but you have to forgive me on my notes are a bit off. But yeah, I said it was just really cool. What do I think is going to happen for next for all of them? I feel like Sky Blue and Julia Hart are probably going to go into a feud themselves over the TBS Championship. And it wouldn't shock me if Statlander started going for the world title again. Probably not straight away, but I think her feud with Toni Storm will be really entertaining. And yeah, say all good all around. All good all around from me. I will be singing the praises of this match whenever I talk about it. I'm very happy that Julia Hart is the new TBS champion. I think it's fully deserved after the progress she's made from being a cheerleader to now. And yeah, all positives from me. Go watch the match. It's very. Following that, we had a segment where Tony Schiavone kind of announced the newest signing for AEW, which is Will Ospreay, which I could not be happier about. I have done nothing but sing this man's praises on my channel and on the Instagram account, which you can follow on this link here at the bottom. You can't see because my friend's in the way. Oh well. Yeah, I'm fully excited for this. I cannot wait for February, March to come around where he will be fully all elite. Obviously, we know that his New Japan contract is up in February, so he won't be around till then. I expect him to be at TNA's Hard to Kill. Maybe a rematch with Josh Alexander on the card, which I am fully for if they're going to let them go at it this time. And yeah, just the amount of dream matches Will Ospreay can have, and the amount of... I have a book, right, which has all my kind of favourite matches. I'm nearly at 200 for my favourite matches. I'm considering doing a video on it, kind of up to you guys, you want me to do that. And it's once he joins All Elite Wrestling, I've got a feeling that book is going to be full of Will Ospreay matches because he is incredible. Like, he's probably going to be my wrestler of the year when I do my video for kind of a review-ish of the year. And yeah, I fully look forward to seeing what this man can do in AEW. You know, the feuds he can have when it comes to a rematch with Orange Cassidy, the third match with Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Jay White. You know, just to name a few, I can't wait to see this happen, and I'm so happy. I popped massively when Ospreay's music hit, and yeah, I'm fully for it. I'm glad he didn't go to WWE, and I'm a big fan of WWE, but I truly believe that he would be better off in AEW or TNA, therefore I'm very happy with this decision. And yeah, do put in the comments which matches you're looking forward to having to watch with Will Ospreay and all. Following that, we had Swerve Strickland defeat Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match. Holy crap, what a match this was. Like, respect to Hangman and Swerve for the shift they put in on Saturday night, because man, that was incredible. For me, 100% match of the night, was never in any doubt after what happened. It was brutal. Like, I love hardcore style of wrestling, and man, they blew it out of the water. It was right down my alley. I loved it, absolutely loved it. Like, honestly, just some highlights that would, I mean, if you haven't seen, they're probably all over social media anyway. But you know, Swerve taking the staple gun to the chest was just made me cringe. The pile driver on the barricade that quite clearly, legitimately split Hangman Page's top of the head open was awful, and how wet of blood Hangman Page's hair was unbelievable, to a point where he took a punch like on one side of the ring. I think the commentators were like here, he took it like on this side and his hair swung and blood landed on their notes, they said, which was fucking crazy. Yeah, the barbed wire steel chair to the back of Hangman there, where like a string of barbed wire like caught over his face, just looked awful. And then anything with the cinder block, he took a Death Valley driver on the cinder block and then Swerve attacked like the back of his head with it as well. It was just beautifully violent. They both pissed blood. It was just amazing. Like, I've shown my friend bits of it and she was cringed. It was fucking, it was beautiful. I loved every single part of this. I did not expect it to go this far, but I'm so glad that it did. And yeah, this is a huge win for Swerve Strickland, who is pretty much going to have a really good 2024 if he carries on the trajectory that he is now. You know, I fully expect him to be world champion probably within the next 2 years, and he fully deserves it. He's a main event player now. He just blew it out of the park with these 2 matches with Hangman Page. You know, Hangman's a 1 of 5 world champions that they've had in AEW, and Swerve is beating him in hardcore style match and in a technical wrestling match, and both matches were brilliant. So yeah, fully happy with how this goes. 100% match of the night. Definitely go watch it. It is beautiful and violent, aggressive and bloody, and everything I love about wrestling. Following that, we have Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho defeating the Young Bucks. This was a good match when I expected a great match, and maybe they held back a bit for the possibility of a rematch down the road, but I genuinely thought that this was going to be one of the better matches of the night. I expected Hangman and Omega versus the Bucks style of match, and though it was good, it wasn't quite that good, which was kind of a shame in a way. But as I said, they might be holding back for some reason if another match comes down the line. But yeah, I thought the Bucks were the rightful winners of this match. I thought they were tactically fantastic during this one, with injuring Jericho's arm and then continuously targeting it every chance they got. And yeah, now that Omega and Jericho are the new number 1 contenders, I feel like they are going to beat Starks and Bill, and then that might bring back the Young Bucks and they have a match for the titles, which the Young Bucks maybe win due to shenanigans probably. I've heard that they might be joining the Don Callis family, which is an interesting move considering that Don Callis has pretty much ridiculed them throughout the feud with Kenny Omega. But if they're going to go that way, I see why. I just don't think it's the best way to go with these two. I feel like having a mutual respect between Kenny and the Bucks is the way to go. But this time have the Bucks win. I don't think, though I haven't looked it up, I don't think Kenny Omega has actually lost to the Bucks in tag team action when he's faced them. Obviously, he beat them with Hangman, he's beaten them here with Jericho. Apparently there was a third match, which I can't remember. It might have been with Ibushi, I assume. But yeah, I said it was kind of disappointing in a way, but if it means we're going to get a rematch and maybe some more storylines with Don Callis family, which I've very much been enjoying, I feel like Don Callis family is actually a really, really good group. I'm surprised they weren't on this pay-per-view. Then, yeah, I fully expect the rematch to be the match I expected here. But yeah, so disappointed in a way, but still very good. And yeah, the Bucks fully deserve to get. And finally, in what was the main event, we had MJF successfully defend the AEW World Championship against Jay White. As far as drama goes, and emotional and all that other stuff, it was great. And I have no complaints about it. The entertainment part of this worked perfectly. But as a match, it was not very good at all. And I know they were playing on the injury of MJF and the emotional parts of Adam Cole and the unnecessary and nonsensical decision to have Adam Cole replace MJF in a match where Adam Cole is more injured than MJF made no sense at all. And yeah, I completely lost interest in the match, because as soon as Matt came back, like, it was pretty inevitable that he was going to lose. I knew I was going to mess up. It was pretty inevitable that he was going to win. I had no doubts in my mind that MJF was walking out world champion here. And it was a shame, because it made the main event very disappointing. Like, MJF and Jay White would have had a banger of a match if they were both 100%, which they were at the start of the night. I feel like going the injury angle, bringing Adam Cole in, like they could have brought Adam Cole in without doing an injury thing. Like we knew the Guns were going to attack MJF, so why not have MJF win the tag titles? Well, win the tag title match, then like with a roll up or something, and then he just hightails it out of there, so the Guns can't attack him. Because Samoa Joe was never going to help him as far as like attack from the Guns go. Like Joe was out of there quick as anything, and MJF should have done the same. He should have just won the match, got the titles, and run. So he wasn't in line to be attacked. Like Adam Cole could have still interfered as well. Adam Cole could have interfered as far as the distraction went at the top of the ramp. He only went to the top of the ramp. MJF rolls him up and runs to the top of the ramp, so the Guns can't do anything. And he pretty much like hides himself for the rest of the night, and we see clips of the Guns wandering around backstage trying to find Max, and Max escapes to the ring, and you know, nothing, and both men are 100% come the main event, but it's just, I don't know, it just, all of it felt unnecessary and nonsensical, and it took away from the main event completely. And I also didn't think MJF would have lost this match because the build-up wasn't like any good. Like, okay, I mean, it was alright, but the whole, oh, Jay has stolen my title thing, it's not main event worthy stuff. And I don't know, it was very mediocre in my opinion, and especially for a main event feud. You know, I was fully looking forward to JY and MJF absolutely ripping the house down in such a good match, but that just wasn't the case, and they went with a stupid angle instead. And yeah, it was probably one of the worser things of the night, to be fair. Like, as far as watching matches back, Swerve and Hangman should have gone on last, because their feud was worth more than this MJF feud, which is a shame because, you know, it could have been so much more. And then, yeah, said after it all went down, the Devil never showed up, which then plays into people's hands of the Devil being Adam Cole, because we can't see them in the same place, because Adam Cole was in the arena with MJF. Therefore, the Devil couldn't appear. I'm sticking to my guns that the Devil is Britt Baker, and I've done a whole video on it. I'll link it in the description. There's probably the eye thing up in that. Oh my god, this corner up here. Go watch it. It's very interesting. It's just me rambling on about why I think Britt Baker's the Devil. But yeah, I think it all adds up to Adam Cole being the Devil, which of course it does. It's the obvious decision. I don't think they're going to go with the obvious decision, but I know a lot of people think that they are. But as I said, overall it was a very underwhelming main event and kind of disappointing in my opinion. So those were my thoughts and opinions on Full Gear 2023. Do put in the comments down below what you thought of the show, what your match of the night was, what you're looking forward to as Will Ospreay comes into AEW in February. As far as scores go, I always choose the wrong corner. 49 out of 67 matches overall this year, which I think is pretty damn good, to be fair. I think we've only got World's End to go now. So yeah, we'll be coming to the end of that, and then I'm when I do my end of year video or overall 2023 video, I'll see who I've done better for, whether it be AEW or WWE. But yes, overall this pay-per-view was very enjoyable. I feel like it was kind of very good when things were good, but also really bad when things were bad. You know, as far as Adam Cole being involved was just silly. The main event was disappointing, and some matches just weren't as good as what I thought they were going to be. But maybe that's on me putting my expectations too high. But the stuff that was really good was brilliant. Hangman and Swerve stole the show as far as I'm concerned. And words. Julia Hart, Chris Statlander and Sky Blue killed it for the women's division. It was probably the better of the two women's matches on the card, proving at the minute why the TBS Championship is more prestigious. But as I said, do put in the comments down below what you thought of the show. Like, subscribe, follow the Instagram, it's on the bottom of the screen. The _wrestling was retrospective on Instagram. I do post on there as often as I can remember to. And yes, I hope you all enjoyed the show. I'll thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next video. See you later.